Welcome to yoga stretch video number 2. This one's for people that feel a little bit stronger and a little bit more flexible. If it doesn't feel good when you start, go back and find yoga video number 1, and it's going to be fairly quick, so just follow along. So we're going to start in a tall kneeling position. We're going to tuck the pelvis under so we've got a nice stable position to move from. We're going to bring the arms up and round, and as we come to the top, we're going to gently lean back as far as we can, letting the weight of the hands pull your arms back and help move your shoulders. We're going to come up and we're going to do 4 reaches, like you're trying to get to something on a shelf that you can't get to, really lifting with the hand and the shoulder and stretching down the side. From there, we're going to tuck under. We're going to reach over to the left as far as we can. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend into it, but push the opposite hip away so we maximize the stretch. We're going to come up, we're going to center, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So reaching over to the right, but pushing the left hip away so we get a big stretch. We're going to come up. Same on the other side. We're doing things just in 2 pairs. There's no magic about this, but it just gives you a good, quick basis to start from, really leaning into it. And then from there, we're going to circle the arms back, up, and as we circle back, lean back into it, getting that movement behind you. And from there, we're going to bring hands down to the floor. We're going to come into a tabletop position. We're going to round up, pressing your hands into the floor, actively pushing your shoulders away from the ground, using your tummy muscles to pull your undercarriage up towards your chest. Then we're going to go the other way, really rolling the shoulders back and pressing them away from your ears, using your back muscles to tug your butt up to your shoulders so we get a really big arch in the back. Then we're going to reverse, pressing away with all of your might, pulling under, and then curving down and really pulling your shoulders away from your ears and your butt up to your shoulders. And then from there, we're going to come to a neutral position. And we're going to bring your feet back into a plank. And from that point, we're going to bring one foot forward, up and round. I'm going with the right. So your right foot is by your right hand. We're going to tuck the tailbone under. And we're going to bring the right hand up to the ceiling, following your fingertips with your eyes. We're going to hold that position for a couple of breaths before we bend the arm on the way back down and lower it to the inside of the foot. And again, we're going to go 4 times on this side. I prefer to do them all on one side rather than alternating, but you can experiment with what feels best for you. I get a lovely stretch down the side of the hip. And what you may notice as you repeat the movement is that your elbow starts to get closer to the ground. And with this, we're pushing through the range we have, not really pushing to go further than we're able to. From this position, we're going to drop the hips down to the floor and then give a little wiggle of this right knee, keeping that back knee up off the ground. We're then going to drop the back knee down and let the hips drop down towards the floor, getting a big stretch through the hip flexor on the left side and opening out through the hip. From there, we're going to shoot the hips back, sitting our weight into our left leg, and we're going to repeat that. So dropping forwards, opening out through the hips, giving a little wiggle with that right knee, and coming back. Nice stretch through the hamstring. Well, I say nice, it feels pretty horrible, I think. And then coming back. So either 3 or 4. I'll do one more just for luck. Help it feel good. And then from there, we're going to pick up the left toes, tuck them under, lift the left knee. We're going to bring that right foot back and then swap over to the left. Notice the very clumsy little shuffle. And here we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're keeping that right knee up, pelvis tucked under, opening out, looking up towards the ceiling before bending the elbow and dropping it down. Now it's completely normal if you don't have the same range on both sides. Just go with what you've got and gently try and maximise the range you've got. We don't want to force it. I think that's 3. Go one more. And then from there, we're going to drop that back knee. Let the hips drop forward to get a big stretch through the hip flexor on the right side. I'm going to give this left knee a little wiggle. I'm going to shoot back, stretch through the left hamstring, come forwards. Left knee, a little wiggle. Come back. I think this is the last one. And then from there, we're going to tuck those right toes back under, hands flat on the floor, lift that right knee and come back to our plank position. From there, we're going to shoot up and back into a down dog. Keep your heels flat on the floor if you can. And then I'm going to lift them and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, keeping your shoulders pressed away from your ears. And then from here, we're going to lift up and come forward. Now with this, I do let my knees go onto the floor. Not everyone does, but I really want to let those hips go, and I find that easier when my knees are on the floor. Tuck the toes under, pull in through the tummy, shift up and back. Repeat the heels. Before coming back, dropping down, letting the hips drop. Actively pushing away from the floor with the hands and arms. And coming up and back. Oh, I think there's one more. Do the heel lifts and lowers. And then I like to come down just for one more tabletop position, bringing the hands back under the shoulders, getting into a nice position, and then coming to rest by sitting on your heels. So that one was slightly longer than the first one, but just gave you an opportunity to stretch in some slightly different ways.